Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Leadership in Politics with Dr. Abraham. With me today is the talented Paul McCarthy. Paul, welcome to Leadership in Politics with Dr. Abraham.
Thank you. Had a great conversation, and love to take this wherever you want to take it.
We have a good conversation, but I liked what I heard. So let's talk about those 5 concepts you have so our audience will benefit from them.
Yeah. So in terms of my journey to develop the practice where I am, so not the 5 leadership, but the actual steps in the journey to help leaders become, and then I can share the other ones if you'd like, but to help me help leaders and disruption officers and my clients to reimagine and reinvent and regenerate their approaches to leadership. I've had to go through on my own journey behind the scenes. It's been really painful for 4 years, and I've developed 5 elements of what those pain points were where I was along the way. The first one for me is really about awareness. So becoming aware of the challenges around me. So in this case, in our conversation, we were talking about awareness of ineffective leadership systems, processes, and approaches to developing leaders. So I had to become aware of the problem. I was a leader in the corporate environment myself for 25 years in the system. And it wasn't until that awareness struck me that I could actually move on to step 2, which was now I'm waking up. And I'm waking up to the dysfunction, the systemic and institutional ineffectiveness and challenges and perhaps toxicity that are around me in the environment. But step 3 is really the tipping point, because it's saying, now I'm awake and I've got this awareness. Do I have the courage to actually address this? So what am I going to do? Because I realize anyone listening to this, as well as some of our conversation behind the scenes, we all have mortgages to pay. We have bills to pay. We don't want to bite the hand that feeds us. And we need to be brave and courageous, because, are we going to be incongruent with our values and our morals or our approaches? What are we going to stand for? And so for me and my journey, it was taking a step to say, I've got the courage to address this. And I don't know how, but I'm looking for a guide. And that came to step 4, which was basically evolving my understanding of what I wanted to do in the system, how I could support the system, how I could guide it, and how I could shift the narrative to basically have step 5 be everything that I'm about now, which, by the way, I never got to the end, because it's a continual process of embodiment. So it's like we are now the change that we've been driving towards. We are disrupting, we are shifting attitudes to disruption. We are basically creating the conditions to have a conversation that matters. And you can't do that, in my opinion and my experience, unless you truly embody what it is that you're trying to help people get to. And so a very painful experience for me behind the scenes for about 4 years before I realized and before I got it. And so putting myself into people's shoes, truly understanding where they're coming from. It's hard. It's hard work.
Where can people find you?
Well, I can be found at paulmacleadership.com. You can find me there. You can find out more about what I do and who I am and my philosophy and how I approach the world. You can also find me on LinkedIn under Paul McCarthy. I'm also under some of the tags Fired Leadership on Twitter and on TikTok, as well as LinkedIn. But yeah, LinkedIn and the website would be the best places to kind of find out if you want to, have a little toe dip to find out who Paul McCarthy is.
You're an author as well, correct? You have several books.
First book is in the hands of the publishers at the moment. So there's 3 planned, but my agent is basically shopping the book around to the traditional publisher circuit. And that's actually a book that's talking about reframing the conversations that we're having about leadership and saying that we need a counterintuitive approach to the future of leadership, which is fired leadership. And I go through what that means and my story and my journey to fired leadership on my platforms. But it's a very different approach to how do we need to identify, recruit, onboard, and develop future leaders as they continue to navigate future disruption.
I love it. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, and we'll talk again.
I love it. Thank you so much for having me on this. Appreciate it.